Welcome to the Champagne Ministry, where we get lit, talk shit, and feel the spirit. Hello, everyone. I am so glad. Is that Travis? Is that Anna? Little Pineapple? Not Miguelito. My cousin Beth? Like, how exciting. I can't believe it. This is the very first installment or episode of the Champagne Ministry. I see Kelly, I see Gail. Hey, boo to you. Welcome to the Champagne Ministry, where we get lit, we talk shit, and feel the spirit. My name is Reverend Rose, and it's time that, we get on our way. Now, at the Champagne Ministry, I want to share with you a little bit of how it works. We have 3 sections or parts of the show. The first one is Get Lit. That's where we talk about whatever gets us lit or excites us about the topic. Then we talk shit. That's where we engage in a little bit of cultural criticism. We bring up whatever's problematic. And lastly, we have to always feel the spirit. And that's when we make sure that we catch the spiritual truth about the issue. So the way I look at it is get lit is the good, the positive. Talk shit, the negative. And feel the spirit is the truth. And I'm going to make sure that I lead you to it. I see you, Trav. So if you're just joining us, one more time, I want to welcome you to the Champagne Ministry, where we get lit, we talk shit, and we feel the spirit. My name is Reverend Rose, and it's time to get on the way. We have 3 guests today. They are all amazing. They're going to impart some wisdom, hopefully some laughs, and make sure that we stay spiritually grounded during this time. Why am I so fine? Only the Lord knows, honey. Only the Lord knows. I'm just playing. So glad that you are all here. Now, there's a couple rules before we get started. A couple rules. If you are watching right now, you have to have something to drink. Like, that's a number 1 rule, okay? Cheryl, Richard, I don't know why you laughing. Go get a drink. It doesn't have to be alcoholic. It can be water, alkaline, tap, gross, but you can do that. Mine is champagne, and I also have bourbon, because does anyone know what the topic is today? The topic today is Black Lives and Bourbon. That's what we're going to be discussing. So I think it's time that we get started. Oh, I didn't finish my rules. Number 1 rule, you have to have something to drink. I don't care if it's water. We do a lot of random toasts and libation celebrations, so you have to have something to raise, okay? Number 2, respect. You're going to hear a lot of opinions today. You may or may not agree. That's okay, but you do have to respect. And if you don't respect, you're going to find out what RESPECT, I can't spell, means to me. So don't test it or stress it, okay? And lastly, the 3rd rule, I don't know what it is because I'm making them up right now. So I ain't got a 3rd rule, all right? We are going to go ahead and get started with the first episode of Champagne Ministry. Jessica, I see you talking stuff. You're supposed to be supporting me, not talking shit in the comments. Thank you. All right, our very first guest is coming on for the first part of our show, which is called Get Lit. What's getting us lit about the resurgence of the Black Lives Movement right now? Her name is Samara Rivers, and she is coming on right. Hi, Samara.
Hey, oh my God, I absolutely love this. Please, please, please have me on like multiple episodes of the Champagne Ministries.
I would absolutely love that. And we have 19 people heard you say that. So, so Samara, my first question is, first I want to say thank you. You are our featured guest for the Get Lit portion of the evening. Where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised. I now live in Atlanta, with my partner and my two kids. But I've known you forever. I don't
Forever.
forever.
Forever. So, what do you do professionally?
I am the CEO and founder of Black Bourbon Society. It is a organization that advocates for diversity and inclusion within the spirits industry. So, but
How
we really, we advocate for diversity and inclusion. We really do fight a good fight, but we do a lot of drinking. So let's get lit.
I like how brands couldn't go together better. There's a serious aspect to what we do, but at the same time, can we have a drink while we do it? Like, do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Can we like have a toast right now?
Let me get my glass.
Okay, what do you
Cheers.
have? Is that's obviously bourbon.
It's I made an blood orange old fashioned.
What
So
is
super
that?
simple. It's just 2 ounces of bourbon, a half an ounce of blood orange simple syrup. I just made it on the stove, super simple, and added some bitters to it and a cherry. That's it.
Okay, so you guys, if you go to hi cousin Megan, if you go to the link in our bio, go to champagneministry.com, sign up for the mailing list. You will get the tasting notes from every episode. So you will get the highlights from the episode, the spiritual lesson from the episode, and a recipe for your drink. Okay, so we are going to toast right now. Toast to Black Bourbon Society, to Champagne
Cheers.
Ministry, and bitch, we about to be on the way.
Yes. Cheers to you.
Cheers to
Congratulations
me.
on your show.
Thank you. So, right now, it is time to get lit. It is time for us to discuss in this Bourbon and Black Lives episode, what is it that gets us lit or excited about this resurgence of this like Black Lives Matter movement, civil rights, modern civil rights movement, however you want to phrase it. I'm going to go first and share with you what gets me excited. I'm excited about the fact that it feels like awareness is being raised about the plight and the struggle and the injustice that Black people have endured for hundreds and hundreds of years. It feels like it's finally beginning to create some awareness among non-Black people. Because here's the thing, if you Black, you already know the issue, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I'm excited about the fact that it's making a small dent in the awareness and the consciousness of the United States of America. To be honest, Black people have been fighting and dying and crying and protesting and marching since we first arrived on the shores of the United States of America in bondage. And we've been doing it all the way to freedom and after that. And so we've been raising our voices. I'm not excited about how slow the progress moves. If there's been any progress at all, I'm not really sure, to be honest. But I am excited about the fact that when I look at those pictures from the protests, I see a whole lot of white people and a whole lot of non-Black people, and I'm here for it, and I appreciate it. There are allies. I'm excited, and that is what gets me lit. Now, Samara, what do you think? Do you agree? First of all, do you agree?
No, I totally agree with you. And what gets me lit is that, like you said, like we've had this plight. We've been fighting a good fight for centuries, for decades, and in our lifetime as well. But what gets me lit is that I actually think we can make the change in our lifetime. And I think that what's happening in our world, in our country, with us individually, we're all being pushed in this moment to step up and to do something. We're all being pushed out of our comfort zone. To be honest, we've all been complacent with racism in this country. We fight, we talk, we advocate, but after a while, it goes away, it dies down. And now is the time, my one of my spiritual advisors said, this is a volcano. All of it is bubbling up and spewing out. It's exploding. But once it's out, it's done. There's no more dying and settling back down. Let this lava flow everywhere and destroy in its path what it needs to destroy so that we can then rebuild again as a society. And it for me, this moment has lit something in me personally. Like I said before, the mission of Black Bourbon Society has been to advocate for diversity and inclusion within this industry. And this week, that has not been enough. We can't just advocate and suggest and write the letter and say that we hope that you'll join us in this movement. We will hope that you do this. We can't advocate and just keep preaching to the choir. Now is the moment for us to insist that it be done. And so we've actually changed our motto. We've actually just published our open letter to the bourbon and spirits industry, who was extremely silent this week, with all the Black Lives Matter statements being made by corporations and companies and celebrities and whatnot across the world. And now it's not time for us to have just a conversation. Now it's time for us to insist that action be done, that changes be made. So it's lit something in me. And as long as I'm alive and as long as I got to sit in the house and wait for the pandemic to end before I can plan another event and do whatever I need to do, like this is the moment where we can really push this message forward and insist that change happen.
That's right. I agree with it all. And everybody, I will be posting on champagneministry.com the statement from Black Bourbon Society to the spirits industry so that you can see that. Please make sure that you follow them as well. If you believe in supporting Black business and the Black movement, well, follow Black Bourbon. Now, I have another question for you. Why do you think we are going to be able, in our lifetimes, to be able to make some really big steps and progress? I saw a couple of people in the comments, it was just one person that said something like, yes, we can make a change, but how big and how long? So it seems like there could be a little bit of doubt, as to what progress we can really make, because it just feels like changes come so slow. So why do you think it can be done in our lifetime, and how?
I think we finally have all the tools in place to get it done. I think social media has played a major role. Technology has played a major role in spurring movements. So movements don't just happen in, like, let's take the civil rights movement for a minute. That was something that happened only in the South. That was something that was communicated truly through the church, through the Black churches, through organizations like SNCC, UNCF, all that stuff that happened for that movement was very localized in the southern part of our country. But now with social media, with advocacy, with people speaking up, using their influence to talk to their audiences, to write these letters, to demand change, to really use their buying power as leverage for folks to make change, we are now seeing a global movement happen. Like, when we've got 50 states that are protesting for Black Lives Matter. Alaska is protesting and marching. Really?
Alaska? Okay.
So it's like, I think we finally have the tools in place to make our messages go viral. We've got 18 other countries that are holding massive demonstrations. We saw, the protests in the UK that broke down the statue of one of the most notorious colonizers, one of the men who created its entire transatlantic slave trade. They broke down the statue and dumped it in the river. So we have so many more voices. We have so much energy and movement behind this. Like, this does not die. This does not just go away. So I think everybody has to force it. And I really think that as long as we stay passionate about this, we will see it end in our lifetime.
As long as we don't allow it to die, it won't die. It's a reflection of us. We all know Black people create and define the culture. And
can I just say something, and this is probably extremely off color, but I think our white brothers and sisters, our Latino brothers and sisters, our Asian brothers and sisters, they are all tired of caring. They are all tired of privilege. They are all tired of being second class. And everyone is now walking into their authentic selves and demanding that everybody respect them as authentic beings. So we're not threatened by Karen anymore. Bye. Erase it. Get rid of it.
Bye, Karen. Your days of privilege Our
are
numbers.
over. Yeah,
Can we all take raise a
a
glass
sip of
to that?
that.
If you're watching, raise a glass to the end of white privilege
Right.
because it's about to be over. Okay?
It is. Yeah. I truly think it is. I think it's just ridiculous. You can no longer condone it.
And you know, I understand that this feels big and large and almost an impossible task, but I want to say once again, it depends on us. You know, we
Hmm.
define the culture. This movement is made up of a lot of individuals, right? So if we
Right.
believe and we take every step we can and act in solidarity, then change is always possible. I'm sure that our enslaved African ancestors didn't think freedom was possible, but guess what? It was, and they kept fighting for it. So that means that as a people who were never supposed to be free here, we can do it. We can take it
Yeah.
to the next level. So, Samara, I want to thank you. We are going to post the open letter to the spirits industry from Black Bourbon Society. We thank you for the work that you do.
Thank
It is
you.
so timely right now, and we're excited to partner with you in the future. And you know you're coming back. So,
Yes, I've got tons of cocktails. So
okay.
anytime you want to get lit, call me.
That's pretty much always. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, sweetheart. Let's
Thank you. Cheers to you. Love you.
see you. Everybody drop some hearts for Samara and Black Bourbon.
Bye.
Oops, I cut her off before she was finished. All right, so that was the get lit section of Champagne Ministry. We get lit, we talk shit, and we most definitely feel the spirit. So the get lit portion, in that portion, basically we talk about something positive, something that excites us about the topic, which is Black lives and bourbon. So I'm gonna welcome our next guest in. She's kind of like the queen of talking shit. So there she is, the queen. I just called you the queen of shit talking.
Damn, it's a compliment, but then again, I feel like I need to do some inner work as well. I don't, I'm
I
gonna just sip. I'm gonna sip to that. I'm gonna sip
sip
to
to
it.
that,
Thank you.
queen. Come
Oh,
on.
oh.
So this,
Hey, boo.
hey boo, this is Nicole Davis,
What's
looking
up with
fly
you?
and fine. Yes, she got a flower, an orchid. Is that an orchid?
Listen, I did a little set decoration and stuff. You know, I was trying. Look at my bottles, real cute
Come
too.
on,
Okay,
come on, Mattel.
okay. I was ready. I was
Come on,
ready.
blow out.
You know, a little something,
You came with it.
just a little something.
You won't let us forget it. All right.
Mm-mm.
This is Nicole Davis. We are now on the Talk Shit segment.
Whew.
This is where we talk about something that bothers us, that challenges us, perhaps a cultural criticism of. It could be society as a whole, but in relation to Black Lives Matter and to this resurgent movement for civil rights. I'll go ahead and start and warm us up.
Warm it up.
The thing that really pisses me off, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
is that I am sick of Black people having to constantly prove our humanity and prove that our lives matter and that they're worth something. Having to videotape our abuses and splash them constantly all over the media simply to prove a point, even though it causes us so much pain and trauma over and over again. I am sick of Black people having to say that my life matters. Why do we have to say that? You know who I think needs to prove their humanity? I think that
Tell it.
white culture needs to prove its humanity. Because guess what? This isn't a Black issue. This is an issue of whiteness and white supremacy. And don't get me wrong, I love my white brothers and sisters, so I'm not pointing the finger at any particular individual. I am talking about white culture as a
A
whole.
system. It's a system.
Name a country that whiteness hasn't pillaged, colonized, raped, or committed genocide. I'll wait. So I need you, white culture, you prove your humanity. Because even though you call Black people and people of color the savages, right? the ones who commit brutality, the rapists. I would like you to take a quick look at your history and your timeline, because I believe that what you are calling us is a reflection of the ugliness that lies within, honey, and I'm not here for it. So while I completely support the movement 1000% with all my heart and my soul, it's really fucking annoys me that I have to say that Black Lives Matter, because you're the one that has created this racial dichotomy and this white supremacy in order to injure and hurt people, just as an excuse to exclude some people from certain resources so that you can hoard them all for yourself and then turn around and ask the question, why does it have to be about race? You made it that way. That's why. Okay? So that's what pisses me
All
off.
right now, girl, you told it. But there's so much truth to what you're saying. And I feel like that personally for me, that was one of the reasons why I had to take a social media break. I'm technically on a social media break, but I just returned for this
Why
situation
you on
right here.
Instagram Live? No, but I asked you. You took a break. You told us.
I'm taking a break, but yes.
But I'm thankful for the fact that you decided to come on and oblige me, because the world needs to hear your voice. But you get to decide. You get to decide when, where, and how, and if. Okay. So I thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for being able to, create a platform for us to be able to discuss. And I actually was just talking to some friends today, and I said I have absolutely no interest in having a conversation with somebody to explain to them Black Lives Matter. At this point, this is a humanitarian issue. We're not, this isn't something that I'm willing to explain or debate or provide examples for it. If you don't agree, then that's fine. But I feel like right now, and that kind of leads me into one of the things I wanted to talk about, is I want to say co-opting or riding the wave of companies and corporations that are jumping on this Black Lives Matter wave. And at this point, and I saw a lot of similar things happening in the cannabis industry, because I come from, most recently worked in cannabis, and, social equity was a buzzword. And then companies started taking it and using it as a marketing tool, and it's a one-off, and then that's it, a donation, and there's no real commitment to really building something foundational. So my concern and my, worry is that, are we going to have these companies and corporations that realize that right now you're going to get called out, you're going to get people are wanting to see where you stand. The line has been drawn in the sand, and I feel like it's going to be up to us as a part of this movement becoming more than just the activism in the streets, but really wielding our economic power. And that black dollar is so fucking powerful. I'm sorry. It's powerful. And I feel like, and I'm one that I talked to myself in this. There was a moment in time when I remember like everybody was talking about taking their money out of banks and going and putting their money in black banks. And I was hyped. I was researching. I was trying to figure it out. But I never followed through. I never did that. My black ass is still right at Chase. You know what I'm saying? So it's not all, Jessica, who is going to take this to a whole nother level, she said, and it was so deep to me, was that the revolution will not be televised. It is internalized. And I'll let her delve into, whatever she's going to talk about. But that really hit me, because it's like everything that we talk about, there's no reason why there should not be another Black Wall Street. Everybody's just learning about that, but we have the resources right now in a community. If we actually, really came up with a plan on how we're going to make them listen, because I'm sorry, they're not an empathetic, that system that you were talking about, that's not a system that was ever built on empathy for all men. This system is working perfectly as it was designed to. And that's a whole nother thing I would, because and these are things that I'm, dealing with internally. Do I want to continue to fight a system that is working as it should? I want to talk. I want to hear some new revolutionary shit. Really, like I really want to start talking about. We don't even need their anything. Why are we continuously trying to fight and change a system that is not broken? It is not broken because this is what it was intended to do. So why? Yeah, so it's like, yes, I understand this is where we currently are, but I also want us to be very focused on future and very focused on, we don't need this bullshit Democratic Republican, you giving me Joe Biden or fucking Trump. I don't want none of them. But I'm going to have to choose between the lesser of two evils because this is what, we've consented to. This is what we've allowed to be. And I just feel like the more people decolonize their mind and start that internal revolution and make some commitments that include, being very intentional about where we spend our money, holding these companies accountable, make sure that they didn't just post a black square and post a couple hashtags. What are you doing? How are you proving that you feel that Black Lives Matter and that Black people have contributed too much to this country to be killed? And I can't do the trauma no more. I can't. I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. I can't watch it anymore. I don't want that I don't want that. I have to move. And I understand that everybody's got their own thing, but right now I can't do it. My heart hurt too much. I can't. I still haven't watched the video. I haven't seen the video because it just doesn't end. There's just no stop. So I don't want to try to make someone who doesn't see me see me. For those of you who see me, let's build. Let's build something that we don't even need them and none of their shit no more.
Right.
And anybody who's down with that can come. It's not about a race. Anybody who is down to build on some shit that actually matters, not some socially constructed idea of race or inferiority of anybody else, you're welcome. But if you don't, stay here and play around with Trump and the Democrats and the Republicans and libertarians and all those whatever Aryans. None of that happened. None of that's help.
Yeah.
Everything's still the same. Everything's still the same. And we're talking the same shit. Same shit.
Different day. So where are we going to build? Like, will we all move to a certain area? Or like, how, if you're talking about like,
I don't even necessarily mean like an actual city, even though that would be dope. But I mean like, it's more of like we're a digitally connected community at this point. We're connected right now. I'm in Camarillo, you're in LA. It's more of a conversation that needs to be being had between people who are ready to be really revolutionary in how we move forward. There is an amazing amount of momentum and energy like I've never seen before. If there is going to be a chance, it's probably right now.
It's now. Let me ask you a quick question. Because you and I have had this debate about, I say vote for Biden because he's the only chance we have to get rid of Trump. Do I care about, is Biden revolutionary? Absolutely not. He will probably be able to reverse some of the most horrendous things that Trump has done, which can impact our lives directly. Do I necessarily believe in him? Am I buying it? No. I do think it's the lesser of two evils type of situation, but I understand what you're saying is I don't want to vote for evil at all. Why cast a vote for something I don't believe in? But it's tough.
It's hard.
I want a complete and total revolution, right? But little baby bud, Nick says he got 5 on the revolution. But
you're gonna need a little more.
I believe you can work within the system and work to overturn it.
Yeah.
So I will cast my vote because it only cost me 45 minutes. Just cast the vote so we don't have Trump, and still have the conversation and work on the world that we truly want. Now, what do you say? Are you?
I feel like that is the most logical and like you have to compromise somewhere. We just can't go like from here to pure anarchy and just total chaos. I'm not an advocate of that either.
Right.
I kind of want a little spy moment or something. But anyway, I digress. But no, I do think that, you know, we have to deal with the mess that we're in.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just put your head in the clouds and not. But I just want to make sure that, at least for me personally, that it doesn't die down because now we have a Democrat in office, and, you know, like, lose, like, and what you guys touched on the first thing, it's like, lose the momentum, feel like just because there's a blue president in there that, you know, things are automatically going to be okay. No, it's not, because there's been many a Democratic president, and you know, we still see that all of those same systems that are in place that are allowing police brutality, you know, these unions and all that. I mean, like, a police union is just like gang headquarters, and they just ride for them no matter what.
No matter what.
And I'm like, they gotta go. You know, there needs to be some definite, and those are things that's not no revolutionary idea. Anybody could have started talking about that before. But, you know, those are the type of things that we need to really say, like, if while this system is in play, then these Democrats or these people that we're aligning ourselves with as a community, they need to do better. And I feel like, you know, we're starting to see these interesting new ideas be coming up and actually being considered. And I feel like putting more pressure, staying on them, using our dollar to make them listen, because they don't care about our pain, because we've been in pain. So how do we make them listen, cause them pain? They value dollar over life, over anything. This is a capitalistic society. They don't care about nothing. If you're messing with their business, if you're, you know, you've seen how everything was during COVID and lockdown. They're like, I need to work in my business. Okay, so now we're intentional on where we spend our money, and things aren't as great. Okay, so now people might start taking a listen. And I think there just needs to be a lot of community and talk about how we're really going to be effective, and people being committed to that.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think, you know, I want to piggyback. One thing that you talked about is economic solidarity, right? I think what our movement is lacking is we are making noise with these protests, and we're making a little bit of awareness and some little changes, right? So there's like a little crack in the armor, right? But if that's not followed up with long-term strategy, this movement in this moment is going to pass and die down like they wanted to. And we'll return to life as normal until the next Black man gets murdered on video in broad daylight. And then we'll start it up all over again. And we're caught in this cycle of trauma, fight, die down, like over and over again. So there's a gentleman, my brother sent me a video. His name is Brian. I don't know the last name. By the way, if you click on the link in bio, go to champagneministry.com, you're going to get the tasting notes from every episode. So all of the highlights and also resources. So today's episode is Black Lives in Bourbon. I'm drinking bourbon because, you know. And you're going to get recipes for drinks, the tasting notes, so all the highlights from the episode, and I will also send you some resources as well. So this gentleman talked about a year-long decision on the part of thank you, Little Baby Buds is what put me onto it. Brian Wilson is his name, and he has an entire strategy laid out. One of it is for every Black person to defend themselves. I won't go into that, but what I want to focus on is the economic plan. For 1 year, every single Black person can only buy Black. That does not include grocery stores, because there aren't enough Black-owned ones, so you can go to whatever traditional grocery store. Little Baby Buzz just put the YouTube link in the comments if you'd like to take a look. Thank you. But he says that, you know, we spend, you know, all this money as consumers. We're going to take it away from the power structure, and they will suffer from that. And then they'll be willing to bend to our demands. Oh, yeah, you think Black Lives Matter? What does your board of directors look like? What?
Accountability.
What are you saying?
Accountability.
You're right, accountability. And not only that, but all that money will be going in to Black business. One reason, he says, why the police and the power structure don't mess with Jewish people or people of other ethnicities is that because they have saved their money. They have not necessarily saved their money. They have gotten together as a collective.
Invested their money together.
Invested in their own communities. So they know if I mess with this group, ooh, they're big in media, they're big in journalism, they're big in entertainment. They stick together. They have funds and foundations and organizations, and we can't mess with them because they're going to sue our ass and go after us. But if you don't have any resources, you can be taken advantage of so easily, right? So it's time that we do that. And it's nothing against our Indian brothers and sisters or Asian brothers and sisters or all these restaurants and companies and small mom and pop businesses. It's nothing against them, but Black people have to come together and do what's right for us. And ultimately, what's right for us is going to one day be what's right for everyone.
For everybody. Everybody benefits because we've always been the bottom of the totem pole. You know, everybody has stood on our shoulders, and that's fine because we can handle that.
Yeah.
You know, but I think now is definitely time for us to be handled in a different, you know, handling this in a different way.
That's right.
And I 100% agree. There's so many dope teachers and leaders that have been, you know, talking so many different ways that we can, you know, wield the economic power. And I'm just, you know, starting to learn them myself. So I just encourage everybody to look outside of, you know, our normal means of educating ourselves and thinking, and start listening to some people who should have had a platform a long time ago, but they've been silenced. And so now we are not the generation of silence. Technology is allowing us to communicate. So let's be very intentional in how we use our energy, who we allow into our space, and what we consent to as a people.
Right.
And all the decisions that we make will always benefit people as a whole. It is not anything about only us, but right now we're focused on us.
When you do what's truly right for you, not what's selfishly right, when you do what's truly right for you and in your best interest, truly right, you are also doing a service to everyone else, because love for others starts with love for self. Respect for others starts with respect for self. It all begins with how you feel about yourself. And as Black people, we've got to stick together. We have to have a strategy and a plan. And without that, this is going to fall flat eventually. Thank you so much for joining us, Nikki.
Thank you for having me.
It
was fun.
You're coming back. You have no
choice. I'll be back. I'll be back anytime.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Everybody raise your glass. One of the rules of champagne, have a glass. All right. We are moving on. Thank you, Nikki, to our last guest. Very quickly, if you're just now joining us, I think I saw Layla. We got little baby Buds here. We got Megan. We got Erin, Beth. Come on, Brooklyn Night. So excited to see all of you here. This is the Champagne Ministry. If you missed the intro, my name is Reverend Rose, and bitch, it's time that we make your day, because that's exactly what we're doing today. We see Savvy Events. Hello. We have gotten lit, literally gotten lit, like not figuratively. That we talked about what excites us about the Black Lives Movement. We have talked shit and talked some cultural criticism, but now it is time to feel the spirit. At the end of the day, all conversations, all issues are spiritual issues. So let's take a moment to think about what the movement for Black lives and civil rights, what it can mean for us spiritually. And hello, my last guest of the day, Jessica.
Hey, boo.
Spencer, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. I'm super excited. That was dope. It's so dope.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I like that loose wave you're giving.
Thanks, boo. Also, what I wanted to input is I don't feel like enough people appreciate The Last Dragon. That's another way we can support. When you got that glow.
Okay, so I need to talk to everybody watching right now. So Jessica, I'm about to put us on the spot. And
oh God.
But basically, I if you want to support Black business and Black people, one thing I feel you should do is you need to understand that Jessica and I have a singing group, and everyone in our life hates on it. Even our friends in the music industry, I think one might be watching, Kelly.
I hope she is.
And they hate on it, and it's quite unfair. And I think the way they hate on you and I, Jess, in our singing, I think what it is, it's like the way people hate on Beyonce. They're like,
right.
Be that perfect. You can't have everything. Sit down.
No.
We're going to find a reason to tear you down. And that's what they try to do to you and I. But
I
we're
feel
not
it.
do that, right?
No, never.
I just hate in the comments even right now. You know what I'm saying? But why don't we, I know I'm putting us on the spot, but we stay ready.
I stay ready.
Okay, can we hit them with a little bit of what we do?
Let's
let
go.
People decide. Okay, ready?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Oh.
So what you think in the comments? Are we like, is it a thumbs up?
It's cracking. They feel us.
Oh, Bethany,
they feel us.
So loud? Okay, that's good. That's good.
They're feeling it inside. They're traumatized.
Layla, you just thought that was funny? Barry,
They said,
no.
oh no? Okay.
Denisha, you gonna just laugh? Richard, you laugh?
You're gonna hate during quarantine?
At least we have one
bitterness.
fan.
They got bitterness in their whole soul.
My brother, he believes, so basically everybody's a hater except my brother. If you could, you know what? Barry, you logging off? Oh, y'all think y'all funny in the
Aaron
comments?
felt something. Yep.
As the head of Champagne Ministry, I can delete you from the comments.
Let's do
and
it.
I would use that power gladly. So you better get your comments together, people. Anyway.
I'm disappointed.
Huh?
I'm disappointed.
I'm disappointed. Thank you.
But not surprised.
Not surprised. Crabs in a barrel. All of you. Anyway, we are now on the talk shit portion. And I'm sorry, we're on the feel the spirit portion. And this is the time we've talked about the positive, negative, but we need to take this issue home, and we need to be able to process what's happening in a positive way that is for our growth and not for our detriment. So, Jessica, I want to ask you, do you want me to go first, or would you like to go first? It's totally up to you.
I'll drop a little something. I got a little something. I go off the dome, but I also jotted a little something down. But what's been coming to me is about rewiring, and we say that a lot, like, you got to rewire, and like, we have to rewire our circuitry. Like in spirituality, we always say, like, cut the energetic cord. And so, like, if you look at a cord, there's like one side that's a receptor. So it's like, what are you plugging into, and what are you allowing to plug into you? And so, like, when you keep having the old circuitry, it can get outdated, right? So when you do that, like, you have to know that, like, what's plugging into you is also outdated. And so it just doesn't function at the optimal, like, level of energy that it can. So it's not sourcing you anymore because it's out of date. So when you have that, that's what you have. Like, those are patterns. Those are cycles. It's the same old, right? Because you're not evolving. It's old circuitry. In real estate, we have what we call, like, major building systems. And one of them, a huge one, is like the roof, right? You have plumbing, and then it's electrical. So almost always, if your electrical is bad and your circuitry is bad and it's not up to standard or up to code for today, it has to be updated. So I feel like what's happening right now in human history is that a lot of our rewiring needs to be done. And we need to cut away the circuitry, our receptivity to the energy that no longer serves us. So if you cut out that cord, it's like what does cancer eat off of? It's like sugar. So what do? You starve the cancer, so you remove sugar from your diet. So we need to remove lower level frequency, lower level energy, lower level thought forms. Whatever the addiction is, is a lot. It's due to negative thinking. It's projecting into the future, right? Or dwelling on the past. So, like, when you're in the present, you have to acknowledge the circuitry that you have, and then you have to cut the energetic cord so that you're being sourced into something that is actually efficient enough for you today and not what you were when you were 5 or when you were 25. So I think what's happening now is a rewiring of circuitry. And it's not, once we start to relate to life as we really are, which is just energy, right? Science has proven that we are energy. We're wearing skin suits that you and I appear to be African American and whatever, but we chose to be that so we can supersede the current circuitry that's on the planet. So that's happening now, and we're doing that. I feel like the virus is doing that, where we are now becoming more patient beings. We're becoming more kind beings. We're having to upgrade our circuitry and our major building system so that our foundation moving forward is one that works for everyone. So that's what came to me for today.
Whew.
Oh.
Rewiring the circuitry. Now, when you talk about, you said on one end of a wire or a cord is receiving,
Right. Which is the feminine energy.
Huh?
It's the divine feminine energy.
Whew. Okay.
If you look at it that way.
So, okay, how do we, that's what I want to know, what Richard just said. How do you upgrade, rather than simply receiving through social media and the media on television or journalism, rather than simply receiving a lot of it, which is negative, how do we change the input and plug it into a different source, one that lifts us higher rather than taking us down?
Well, the first thing you have to do is unplug.
Woo! Stop right there. Unplug. So like Nikki, who was on earlier, she had to go off of social media, right?
Right.
So if you have to unplug from a person,
yes,
a place,
yes,
or a thing, you do that.
Yes. So you want to unplug. So first of all, you have to be committed to knowing yourself. I say you got to unplug and inplug. Yes. So like you're going to unplug. The first thing, you don't have to know, like, I don't necessarily, anyway, we can go very deep into that, but you just, if something doesn't feel right, like if Nikki gave herself a social media break, maybe she didn't know exactly what it was about social media. Maybe it was a certain type of content. Maybe it wasn't, but she felt strongly enough that she needed to unplug from it. So it could be a relationship, like you said, it could be a friendship, it can be a career. But when, like, we have to unplug so that we can utilize our intuition, which is our divine connection to source. Yeah. So again, if you're not sourcing, like you want to source, you know what I mean? So you don't want to be in-sourced, you want to be the source. So the thing is that once you feel like you can walk into a room, you can be in somebody's company and you can feel like, this feels uneasy. Start to practice like, I just need to unplug from that person or that place. So the more that you unplug from those things, you're signaling to the universe that I want to be connected to things that are sourcing me higher, that feel better for my soul. So the more you practice that, then you're rewiring yourself because you're now sending a new signal to the universe that these things no longer source me. These things no longer energize me. And I want to plug into things that are efficient for my being, that have an equal exchange of energy. So a lot of times we're plugged into things that cannot source us. So the universe will create chaos. At first, I say it will whisper to you. So the universe has been whispering to humanity like, hey, you're emitting a little bit too much pollution, and not just pollution with cars, but pollution with our minds, pollution of our thoughts, pollution of our relationships to ourselves and other people. So it'll like whisper like, hey, it's a little bit too much. So then it'll start to like nudge you. It's a little too much. And when it has to scream, a virus ensues. That's chaos. So you're being dragged through it. But if you are proactive in your unplugging, if you're committed to it, then you will move before having to be moved. You will not be dragged through. It's not gonna, when you forcefully unplug a plug and a spark flies, and you're like, whoa, because you pulled it from a further in than you should have. You weren't gentle with it. Yeah. So when you are walking gently upon the earth, as I like to say, you're not leaving a huge imprint, which is karma that you have to repay. You're simply proactively participating in your life. You unplug it gently where it should be, and it's smooth. But when you yank it hard, that's chaos, and that's a spark. And I feel like this virus and a lot of the protests, it's a spark. So it's all good. It's a rewiring to expect goodness. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us have had trauma So we're wired to expect negativity. We're wired to expect somebody to do something harmful to us in a relationship. So there's a mistrust. So we have to rewire ourselves to expect goodness. And I have to do that too. So, for me, it's check in, look at the good and acknowledge it, be grateful for it every single day. That's rewiring, and that's signaling to the universe, I want more of that. But when you are plugged into something that does not source you, that's a signal too.
Right. I mean, like, as you can see, we have Jessica Spencer on for a reason. We have every guest on for a specific reason. And that message of unplugging from that source that does not no longer feed you, and plugging into the ultimate source, is real powerful. Like, people are going off in the comments. So thank you for that. And what my feel the spirit comment or observation relates to yours. And mine is, what resists persists.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What you fight and push against, you actually make stronger.
Yes.
So when you march for anti this, anti that, you're giving that energy. How about march about what you're for instead of
yes
against?
1,000%. Yeah.
And I know little baby Buzz, Nick Chitty, can relate to that because he always tells me that. But I'm going to give you an example. What resists persists. When you ignore something that needs to be addressed, it only grows.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
If you ignore that high cholesterol, right? You ignore that high blood pressure, bitch, you might have a heart attack, right?
Plain and simple.
If that light goes on, the oil light or the check engine light in your car, and I know because I ignore them quite often, your car will break down. I've called AAA many a time, right?
Yeah.
You have a problem in your relationship that you're not addressing. Guess what? It's gonna blow up into a fight or a breakup. Yeah. What you refuse to look at and address will stay under the surface for a little while, but guess what? When it comes back up, it's built up pressure, and it's going to emerge as an emergency. And that's what's happening in the United States of America. We have never come to terms with the legacy of savagery that the country and its leaders have perpetrated upon Black people and people of color and gay people and country people around the world. We've never dealt with it. So guess what you get? You get people burning the shit motherfucker down because it's going to reemerge as an emergency. Because you did not deal with it and it built up pressure like an earthquake, for example. So that's like saying, I'm standing here and I live right here and there's a big boulder in front of me, right? Yeah. It might roll over on me. Yeah. Right? If I resist it, and I'm pushing against it, I'm not going to win because I'm giving it power. But if I ignore it, it might roll over on me or it's blocking my sun. But if I address it, perhaps there's a way that I can go around it. Exactly. Climb over it. But if you don't address your demons, they will reemerge as an emergency. And guess what? That's exactly what's happening. So use this not only for what we're looking at, but I want to use that knowledge for myself and pass that on to other people. Don't be afraid to address anything negative or any challenge in your life. You have the strength to do it, and the option is yours to be able to do it, because if you don't, it will emerge. As what? As an emergency, bitch.
You said, can you break down that word emerge and see?
I'm having a conniption. That was a revelation for this nation. Oh that God, I might have to
girl emerge. Okay, I got one quick thing. Emerge and see.
Girl.
But okay, one quick thing too, since we are energy, that I want to say that came to me earlier is you have like, I'm Black and I'm proud, and even like nigga, like these all used to be derogatory words, but we re-encoded them, we rewired them to be powerful. So I want to say that we can do that with anything. We have to reclaim our power. We have to get back to our power source. We have genetic encoding. Melanin is akashic record memory that we have in our DNA that's stored. And what I also want to say is we should do that with words like coronavirus, quarantine, and COVID. Rewire those words to be higher vibrational frequencies, because right now they're rewired to be lower. So we want to say, everybody on this phone, like when you say those words as an energetic being, rewiring and re-owning and your own energy, right? We are claiming that those words are higher vibrational for the whole planet. So it's going to keep circulating. We want to give them higher vibrational frequency rather than
How?
low.
So it would, every time we say coronavirus or COVID
Yes.
or whatever,
Or
what do we need to
quarantine.
put in our mind? Or quarantine, whatever. What do we need to do?
Well, we're claiming as divine beings of light, right? We're reclaiming that those words are higher vibrational frequencies, and we are going to raise the vibration of them so that we're just claiming it. That's how much power we have as energetic beings. Those words don't have power over us, but we're acting as though they do. But we're going to rewire that right now. And every time we say those words and we see them visually, they're higher vibrational frequency. They mean abundance. They mean divine love. They mean divine creativity. They mean divine connectivity. Everything that we're claiming right now is what they mean. We're not going to allow them to mean anything negative or lower vibration when we see them.
Can we have that commitment? There's 22 people watching right now. Can we have the commitment that
Yes.
anytime, or let's try to, it's not going to be every time, it's a work in progress, but when you hear or say or read or talk about the words coronavirus, quarantine, stay at home,
COVID, yes.
they usually come with a negative, awful association, right? Let's recode it. That doesn't mean you lie to yourself and pretend there's not a disease. It doesn't mean you're walking around like, with your head in the clouds.
Right.
Yes, we know it's a disease, but how about this disease, even though it has hurt people, maybe it's bringing about a new awareness of the beauty of staying at home and the beauty of family and the beauty of cooking your own food and the beauty of slowing the fuck down for a minute and not having to be the most productive person in the world. How about we recode that? So everybody who is watching, when we are saying these words, let's change the energy around them.
Yes.
Little baby Buzz just broke down quarantine. Quran, like the Quran, teen. Best thing said, slow the fuck down. So I think, I know that words are power.
Yes.
You have brought some powerful words. Nikki has brought powerful words, and Samara of Black Bourbon Society has brought powerful words today. I want to thank you all for watching. This was just the very first installment of Champagne Ministry. We have many more to come. We appreciate your support on your words, and by virtue of being here, you are absolutely blessed. So for one quick second, we're going to do like a little prayer and meditation, okay? So you can, eyes open, closed, doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. For this world, I'm speaking these words. Thank you. Even when times are tough and difficult and we're told we have to stay at home and be alone and that there's a sickness out to get us, we stop and we simply say thank you. It's okay to feel fear. It's okay to feel worried. But even within those feelings, we can simply say thank you, because guess what? Even though life is crazy right now for Black people, for all of us, there's a pandemic going on. There's this, racism is coming to a head, white supremacy, I should say. Let's give thanks for the fact that we are even alive to be able to speak these words and have these experiences, because life and love is not just the good and rosy and beautiful stuff. It's also the heartbreak and the difficulty and the challenge and the sickness. But you wouldn't know the good if you didn't know the bad, because you'd have nothing to compare it to. So we say, thank you, Corona. Thank you, life. Thank you, good. Thank you, love. Thank you, hurt. Thank you, heart. It doesn't matter what it is. You are alive to experience it. And guess what? You didn't have to be here. But you came through worlds. And you came through your mother and father in this crazy chemistry and biology, from spirit world to physical world, to be here. So be here and give thanks for it. This is the Champagne Ministry. Love you all. I'm glad we got lit. We talked a lot of shit and we felt the spirit. Every Sunday, 7 p.m., I encourage you to click the link in bio, sign up for our mailing list, and I will send you the tasting notes or the highlights from every episode as well as resources. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jessica.
Of course.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.
Everybody. Love you all.
Love you guys.
Sunday. So next time, have your drink ready. Mine is empty, which is not cool. Have your drink ready and your mind steady. Okay? This was Reverend Rose and bitch. It's time to get on the way. Peace.